There we go. Okay, so that's what we do. We choose our vibe, or you get to choose our vibe, and we're constantly vibing here at Vibe Nation, and we are so excited to share this with you. Of course, I'm very excited to be here, to be able to do this, and I'm grateful to have the opportunity to be able to do this for you today. Of course, we always start off with disclaimer. The disclaimer is for many reasons. Of course, the main reasons is Vibe Rides cannot and will not make any guarantees about your ability to get results. That is all up to you. What you put in, you will get out. And so we will not guarantee that income. And of course, as we can't guarantee you any income, you as well can't guarantee any income to others. It's all up to the individual. So if you're working full-time all week, 7 days a week, then you're a full-time warrior, of course. That's what you're going to benefit. That's your return on investment. If you're part-time or you're a weekend warrior, that's phenomenal too. Of course, that's what you're going to return. That's your return on investment. So what you put in is what you will get out. And that is definitely up to you. So no guarantees in regards to that. And let's jump right into this amazing opportunity. Of course, I say it's a global phenomenon because it is. We're global. The opportunity can be leveraged by anywhere in the world. And of course, that's exciting in itself. And definitely because of who we are as a company, our culture is definitely a bonus in regards to that. So the world has changed right before your eyes. Yes, it has. It's changed before all of our eyes, especially in the recent months. Has it been like, what, 4 months now with everything that's going on? People were literally caught off guard in a sense, right, with what's been happening. And of course, we've already talked in a lifetime, there's 5 career changes. Well, for a lot of people, they thought they were done with that. They were on their last career, on their last opportunity. They were set. They were going to go on from there. And boom, what happens is something interrupts that. So it's not just a conscious interrupt. It's literally an everything interrupt. And that's what happened to many people. And it happened to all industry. So this isn't, it didn't discriminate. I can tell you that for sure. Everyone was affected with what has just happened. Every single industry has been affected. And of course, what happens is things have to change moving forward. So all this time, you've probably been, with your career change, you're probably having another one. Why? Because you may have been laid off, or your company has decreased in the type of, the amount of people that they're hiring. They took a, they took a great look at their business, and they said, wow, we need to make some change moving forward. So many were furloughed. A lot of people were laid off, some permanently, unfortunately. And that was a big wake-up call for all of us, right? We've been undervalued, most definitely, working so hard and not feeling like you're valued, overworked, most definitely. There's nothing wrong with working hard, but what we're going to talk about today is about how to work smarter. Working hard, especially when you're doing something you love. I love waking up every morning. I can't wait to do what I do. I get excited, and that's what gets me out of bed. And of course, I don't sleep very much, not because I'm just excited for the next day. I'm excited to what's going on. So that's definitely gets me up in the morning. But, I've learned to work smarter. I'm surrounded with people who have taught me that, and I've embraced that, and I've taken that in. So yes, for years, overworked, and even being overworked is just, when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like overwork. Right? So of course, overworked, and most definitely underpaid. So when you're feeling all this, undervalued, overworked, and underpaid, that's not a good feeling, right? And it's hard to move on every day doing the same thing because of all this feeling that you have. It becomes a little difficult. And of course, aged out. What is happening in a lot of corporations, they're saying, hey, you've got a lot of experience, you've been with us for a very long time, but we've got individuals that are younger, that have a lot of energy, a lot of new ideas. We need freshness, and they're definitely younger, and they will work for less, right? So basically that's what a lot of companies are doing. They're evaluating in regards to a lot of things. And of course, that's what happens in being aged out. And of course, this is where we are right now. It's called innovation. Even though the gig economy has been around for a very long time, we've been doing gigs, and people, you know, all others before us have been doing gigs. They may have not been called gigs. They could have been, you know, side hustles, hobbies that you get paid for, you know, handiwork on the side. But now the gig economy has come to the forefront. Why? It's because there's a way now to work smarter and get more done. And partnered and accompanied and working together with an app is definitely creating new and bigger opportunities. And that's what they're calling it, the gig economy, but it's been around for so long. You know, I'm sure many of us have gone and done little things on the side to get a little bit of extra cash. I myself, you know, come from a business background, of course, entrepreneur at a very young age. I've always wanted more. And of course I was an employee, but being an employee wasn't enough for me. I wanted to do more. And I was doing side things to make some extra cash, you know, doing a favor for someone with, having a chef background. Of course, I was doing side gigs as well, you know, doing caterings on the side, and just as an example, something like that, right? And of course, the gig economy is ginormous, and it literally has catapulted into a new level at this point. And that's what we're going to share with you today. The gig economy wrapped up in an app is most definitely where it's headed in regards to a lot of things. Okay, so why do most people never get ahead of the money curve? Now, think to yourself, what could it be? Could it be on who I'm surrounding myself with? What am I watching? Am I developing myself? Am I getting the insight? Am I being, you know, training in self-development? What am I listening to? What am I binge watching? Because, you know, every once in a while, we all binge watch, but it all depends on what you're binge watching to and what you're watching, who you surround yourself with, what information are you receiving, what's going to take you to the next level. So it could be people, and it could be a lot of those things that won't take you to the other side of the money curve. But we're here to explain on how to do that, because we all want to get to the other side of the money curve, which is the right side of the money curve. And I'm about to explain that to you today. Time for you to take control. Absolutely. What we have here is we have quadrants, and through our lifetime, we go through these quadrants. And I'm going to explain to you these quadrants real quick and what they mean. Employee, you have a job. That's the employee quadrant. Self-employed, you own a job. And then you have the business owner, the B quadrant, where you own a system. And then, of course, you have the investor quadrant where money works for you. So as an employee, you have a job. And I'm sure many of us have started there. I, of course, employee, absolutely. I was employed for many, many years. I went to school because that's what my parents taught me. They said, Angela, you need to go to school. Why? They emphasize that a little more, I believe, because of their upbringing, because they didn't get a chance to finish school. And they went through, actually, they didn't even barely finish grade school, but they've done very well for themselves. So we're going to explain to you in regards to having skills and so forth. Of course, if you're educated, and it may take you to a little bit further because of the knowledge and experience, but doesn't necessarily mean it's going to take you way above to the next level, because my parents, successful, hardworking individuals, and wanted me to go to school. So I did. I got educated. I mean, I got overeducated, thinking to myself, if I went to school and got all these degrees in business, I'm going to get a better job, and they're going to pay me a lot of money because I've got all these degrees. Well, not necessarily true. They're going to pay you for your position, of course, but they're not going to pay you for being overqualified, right? So of course, then you're an employee where you have a job, where your employer, which we'll explain a little more, has control of you. Then of course, you're the self-employed, you own a job, and we're going to talk about it because it kind of owns you too, right? So what you want to do is you want to get onto the business owner side. You want to get right here to the B quadrant where you own a system, where you can leverage that system. And this is where we can talk about working smarter, not harder necessarily. And of course, when you're in the B quadrant and you own a system and you can leverage that system, it gets you into the investor quadrant, because then now you have a little bit of extra money, and for some of you, a lot of extra money to invest where money works for you. So let's explain the employee quadrant, right? You're an employee, you're currently here. Some of you out there right now, right here, are right there, right? You're in the E quadrant. Your boss controls your time and your money. Also controls on when you go out for lunch, when you have lunch, and of course, if you can go out for lunch, because your pay is capped. They tell you how much you're going to get paid. You definitely are told when you can take a vacation and how many days off you're allowed to have and how many breaks, if you get any breaks at all. That's the employee quadrant. Nothing wrong with that, but there's always more. And so definitely the more takes you into the self-employed quadrant. That's the S quadrant, where customers control your time and your money. And of course, moving from the E to the S is phenomenal. For me, it was I thought, wow, now I'm self-employed. Now I'm a business owner. So I've kicked it up a notch. But of course, what's the difference? The difference is, instead of your boss controlling your time and money, now your customers control your time and money. Absolutely. If you don't work, you don't get paid as an employee. But in this case, if you don't get customers, you don't get your time and your money. They control all that, right? And then most definitely, just like doctors or myself as a in the hospitality industry, if you don't work, if your restaurant's not open, if you're not operating, if you're not cooking, if you're not serving, you're not going to get those customers, right? So they definitely control you. And of course, they control your time as well, because they tell you how long you need to stay open. They tell you how many hours a day. They tell you if you need to stay open on the weekend, because if you want that revenue, you've got to listen to your customers. And if those customers are going to pay you for a service, you've got to provide a service. So yeah, they're definitely in control. So this is why we're here. We're here because you want to take your life into another quadrant, which is the business owner quadrant. You control your time and money. And this is where when you control your time and money, you're leveraging a system. You're leveraging a system and you're leveraging other people. And when that happens, you literally get to do what you want, whatever that may be, but at the same time, you've got this residual passive income coming in, all this revenue coming in, because you've leveraged a system, and that system has leveraged people, and that's what creates that business, that revenue, that passive and residual income for you. And of course, when you're a business owner, you have more time and you're going to create leverage you're going to create money with more leverage. And when you have leverage, you definitely can get into the investor quadrant where money works for you. Alrighty, so time for you to take control. Absolutely. This is how we take control, because when you're on the active effort side, you spend too much time on the wrong side of the money curve. And we spoke about that. There's all kinds of reasons, but this is another reason, because On the left here, on the active effort side, or your right, it is basically you're doing all the work. So as an employee, as well as being self-employed, you're doing the active work in order to create revenue for yourself, right? To create an income. And what we're doing here today is showing you how to get to the right side of the money curve. And that is called passive effort, using leverage, using a system. And when you're using leverage and you're using a system, you're leveraging other people to create that passive income for you on your behalf. Of course, you can be right in the middle of that, doing what you love and doing exactly that. But at the same time, and this is what we talked about being global, you can leverage a system from anywhere in the world. You can leverage a system and you can leverage people by being at home, just like many, many people are doing today. To this day, there's a lot of individuals working from home, and a lot of businesses and industries have understood that that's where it's headed. And look at this, we're giving you an opportunity, a system, and the information and the tools to be able to do that and leverage other people to get to the right side of the money curve. And of course, we're talking about the B quadrant, and we just talked about that. That's the business quadrant. Get to the B quadrant. That's why we're here. We want to get to the B, and how you can then do what you already are doing. Do what you love. You can be right there in the middle of it all, or you can be doing something else that you truly enjoy, or you have another side gig that you could be doing as well, while you're leveraging the system, while you're leveraging other people to create the revenue for you. And of course, no boss, no degree, no experience. This system does not discriminate. Having experience, having a degree, nothing wrong with that. It gives you more leverage, right? But you don't necessarily need that. You don't need that. We've built a system for you so that you don't have to think about having a degree. You don't have to think about having an experience. You can create your experience. And of course, in this case, others work for you. Isn't that amazing? A system where others work for you on your behalf while you do what you love. I mean, genius, right? And of course, Vibe Rides gains you leverage. And this is why we're here today. We're talking about leverage. We're going to show you how to leverage a system, how to leverage other people to create revenue and opportunity for you, for a lifetime, to build a legacy for you and your loved ones, of course. And then again, you can share it with the world, because we're definitely global. And so there we go. Okay. So drive share industry, the timing is right. Actually, the timing is absolutely perfect. We've literally are going to leverage this phenomenal opportunity of drive share, as we call it, and the timing is impeccable. There's 98 million ride share passengers right now in the world, and of course, growing. Why? Because there's a need, and people are definitely having that need and want right now, and that's growing phenomenally. Of course, we have 5.3 million drivers and growing massively. I mean, the industry is intense and it's growing like crazy, and we're going to give you this opportunity to share that with the world. Why? Because you'll be able to leverage. Look at the size of this pie. I call it a pie, this circle. There's an opportunity to leverage and access 98 million passengers. That is immensely huge, right? Imagine the little portion of that would still be massive, right? And so that's why we're here today. And of course, we are what we call ourselves is a mobility solution. Vibe is moving. Of course, we've started with people. We started with passengers, but we're very innovative. We're very forward thinking, and our CEOs every single day always talking about what can we do next? What can we do to stay ahead of the money curve? phenomenally every day. It's an intense conversation in regards to that. And of course, Vibe is moving, and we'll be moving into products and eventually into services. And of course, way beyond that, because we want to grow. And when we grow, you grow. And that's definitely our goal. Win-win for everyone. Introducing the next generation of drive share. And this is what we call it, because we're driving and you're sharing. And of course, look at this fancy, cool, vibed out car, which is phenomenal. We had this vehicle at one of our events. We got it wrapped. And of course, our VP of marketing, Mark Kithcart, did a phenomenal job, of course, with all of our marketing. And I love this vehicle. It's really, really cool. So it's definitely vibed out with drive share. Of course, 3 ways to vibe. You can ride, you can drive, and you can overdrive. And that's why we're here. We want to get to overdrive. We want to get to the other side of the money curve, and that's where overdrive is located. And this is where I'm going to take you today. So of course, you can ride. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You can ride. This is where it's, you know, it's convenience, and you can leverage other people to do that for you. You don't have to drive. You can get people to ride. You can download the app for free. Absolutely phenomenal. That's definitely a bonus. And of course, what makes us different? Why is Vibe Rides different? We just are. There's so many things that we're contributing to, so that you can choose your vibe. And of course, right now here we have Armando, who chose his vibe. And how he chose his vibe is he likes to talk. Some people don't like to talk. Maybe you were at a business meeting, or you had a hard day and you just want some quietness. You can do that. You can choose your vibe and just say no conversation. You can also set your temperature. I've been in vehicles where they're either cranking that air conditioning and I'm freezing, or they've cranked the heat and I'm overheating, or they have nothing at all on and the windows are rolled down and the wind's blowing like you're in a tunnel. That's not the kind of vibe I want to be in. So of course, with Choose Your Vibe with Vibe Rise, you can choose your temperature exactly how you like it. And of course, you can choose your music as well. Here in this case, Armando likes rock and roll, but you can choose country, you can choose R&B, you can choose classical, jazz, whatever is your vibe and what you're feeling, you can do that. And of course, very, very proud in regards to girl power, most definitely. And I'll explain that on the next screen. That is, safety is #1 for our company. And we want to make sure everyone is safe, the driver, the rider, as well as the community. So this is a very, very phenomenal, cool thing that we have. Of course, here, I'm going to explain to you the additional safety that we have, and girl power, which is phenomenal. Girl power is where you as a driver can choose to only have female passengers. And of course, if you're working during the day, you've got another gig going on and you're working all day, but you want to drive in the evenings and sometimes it gets late and you don't want to pick up male passengers, you'd rather pick up female passengers, you are able to do that. And of course, the other way around. I think about this all the time with my nieces and my sister and my mom. It feels really good to know that they are able to choose a female driver as a choice, just to feel safer, and they are able to choose that, which is phenomenal. And of course, we have safety alert features, or one-click 911, of course, and access to 24/7 support, which we have, which is phenomenal. And route tracking, you can share your route with loved ones, and so you can feel safer and let them know, and they can follow where you're going. And of course, first name only basis. So we don't share any type of information, not only first name, no telephone numbers, nothing like that. Nothing is shared, everything is private. And of course, that's another security safety factor that we have that's really important to us. And of course, Vibe rewards, and we do. We love to reward, we love to give back. And of course, in regards to loyalty and user benefits, that is huge for us. And we love to share loyalty and user benefits to all of you out there. And of course, share the vibe and get paid. And this is what we're going to talk about today. You can share the vibe and you can get paid for it. Right? Isn't that phenomenal? And of course, travel exclusives. We have given away all-inclusive trips to Cancun, which was phenomenal. And what we did was every single rider had the opportunity to put in their name in a draw, and we've had winners, we had riders win an all-inclusive trip to Cancun for 2 people. Isn't that phenomenal? So we can leverage that. We have a marketing arm called iBoomerang, and we're able to leverage these travel exclusives, not only to riders, to drivers, to the community, of course, and that's who we are, and that's really definitely great incentives and exciting. And of course, Vibe is the next generation of drive share, most definitely, and it's 3 ways to earn. We call it the D3. Now listen to this. This is pretty phenomenal. Earn when you drive. So you're driving, that's traditional. You're doing your driving and you're earning. That's phenomenal. That's great, right? But guess what? You can earn when others drive. And you can earn when customers ride. I go slower on this screen because I just have to repeat it over and over again because of how phenomenal this opportunity is. Let me repeat. You can earn when you drive. Yeah, ride share, drive share. You're driving, you're earning, right? Phenomenal. But let's kick it up a notch. Earn when others drive, and then you earn when customers ride? Absolutely. And we're going to explain that shortly. So drive. So we talked about the quadrant, of course. We went from the employee quadrant, we went to self-employment quadrant, and this is the drive portion. You're driving, you're self-employed, you're working for yourself, you're hustling, you're doing your thing. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I'm going to explain to a little bit of details in regards to what happens when you're in the S quadrant. It's called active income. And we've talked about that, right? You're doing the work, you're earning. So earn when you drive up to 75% of the distance, and time charges after your first 50 rides each month. Okay, so you're driving, cool. You're earning some cash. Phenomenal. You can earn up to 75%. Of course, taxes and tolls and fees aren't included because we don't make money off of taxes. So definitely we've got to give that back to the government. They've earned that. So, but of course, everything you've earned is yours. So tips and of course the ride and tolls are all yours. They're all your earnings, and that's an active income. And so, of course, we're going to go into an example right here of what an active income you can receive for. This is the revenue. This is just an example to let you know what type of revenue we're looking at, you know, in this opportunity as a driver. So how to earn $5,000 a month driving. So you're driving about 20 days out of the month. That earns you about $250 a day. And what earns you $250 a day is an average of 17 rides a day at an average of $15 a ride. So we're being very conservative here. And of course, average of 17 rides, we definitely know drivers out there are definitely working hard and doing more than 17 rides a day, but we wanted to keep this conservative and just give you an example of the opportunity, of the potential. And of course, as we mentioned before, what you put in, you will get out of it. So it's, you know, if it's 20 days, if it's 10 days, if it's 5 days, that is all up to you. And that's, you know, how the earnings work. And of course, again, taxes, tolls, and fees, definitely tolls you'll get right back. Your tips are all yours as well. And of course, taxes, you know who gets the taxes, right? It's not us. Okay, so definitely overdrive. This is getting to the right side of the money curve, absolutely, to the B quadrant. And the B quadrant is the business quadrant. This is what you want to, this is where you want to be. And this is what we call overdrive. This is how we kick it up a notch. This is where you put on your seatbelt because you're about to get to overdrive. And it's called passive income. Earn when others ride, earn when others drive. I love this. I just love this. And being in the B quadrant, of course, you understand now that it's all about leverage. You're leveraging other people. You're earning while other people ride. You're earning while other people drive. So you're leveraging and you're gaining that residual income coming in while you're doing what you love. And it could be driving or it could not. It could be something totally different. You don't have to drive, but you can most definitely earn. And so here's a rider passive model. This is just to give you an idea on the rider side of the passive income potential that you could have. So this is you, and you've passed on to the app to 10 riders. And I'm sure you can do that because you can do this hundreds of times. The reason why I tell you that is because I've referred people to all kinds of things all of my life, and I've never gotten paid for it. Imagine that. Imagine sharing an app and in return you get paid for it. Of course, there's some incidents out there where, you know, you get a referral, there's a referral program and you get paid, but that's a one-time thing. Most apps and most industries either don't give you anything at all, or they'll give you that one-time thing. Well, with us, it's different. And I'm going to explain that to you further. So for 10 people, they share it with other 5 people, and that adds up to 50 people. And then those 50 people share it with another 5 people each. That adds up to 250 riders. That's a total of 310 riders total. And say about a $50 average per month that they're generating. That's how many rides worth basically that they're utilizing, about 50 bucks. And of course, that equals to $15,500, which is about $465 a month, which adds up to $5,580 a year, which is 3%. 3%. Can you imagine earning 3% for doing what? Sharing? Yes, sharing is caring. Now sharing is earning. You get to not only share because you care, you get to share because you're going to earn. And of course, we've talked about rider incentives, and here at the bottom, each customer got their 5 for a free ride, but that's coming soon. So just don't want to let everyone know that this is definitely coming soon. We're going to have incentives like these as an example for riders, but it's not out currently. So just want to make sure you knew that. And we will most definitely keep you updated when they do come out. And of course, we definitely want to share a driver passive model as well. So here, this is you. And you have shared the app and got on board 10 drivers. So basically right now what you're doing is you're building your fleet. So our last example was you're building your customer base. You're building your referral base where it's accumulating and doubling, quadrupling, right? To get all those rides and building your massive customer base. But in this case, you're building your driver base. So you're basically getting people on board to drive for you. And remember, we've talked about leverage. So they'll be driving for you and they'll be earning for you. And just like the customers, they'll be riding for you, but they're basically earning for you at the same time because we're leveraging that system. And in this case, of course, 10 drivers, fares of $50,000 a year. So that these drivers are earning $50,000 a year, a total of 10 drivers. That's a total of approximately $500 a year, right? So you're going to get $500 a year, 3% of that. Wow. 3% of that of right here, drive share is $15,000 a year. For doing what? For building your fleet. While you do what you love, you could be driving or you could not. That's why when we talk about it being global is the fact that we've got people in other countries who have drivers in the markets that we're in, and they're leveraging the system, they're leveraging those drivers, and they're leveraging those riders because the riders are going to ride anyway, right? You might as well earn for it. And of course, drivers are going to drive anyway, so you might as well earn for it. And of course, that's what we call residual and passive income. Wow, phenomenal. Isn't that great? And so, of course, here's the difference. So we were talking about this whole time, we were talking about active income and we're talking about passive income. Well, I'm going to kind of break it down for you. So on the active income here, there's the E and the S quadrant. This is what you're looking at. And this is where rideshare companies, this is their model. There's nothing wrong with their model, but this happens to be how they operate and how they do business. Company pays your startup expenses. Yeah, they may, for example, pay for your background check and they'll pay for your inspection, your vehicle inspection. Okay, but that's that one-time thing. They're going to give you that, but what else are they giving you? That's what we're going to talk about. You still get capped because your earnings are capped between 70 and 75%. Why? Because you're in the E and the S quadrant. You're in the employee and the self-employed quadrant, basically, where the company basically controls your income. And of course, their business model, again, nothing wrong with that. They're in business to do business, like most companies, of course, and they're going to give their shareholders, which is their goal, their ultimate goal is to make sure the shareholders get paid. So that's 25 to 30% to the shareholders. But now we're going into D3, we're going into overdrive. And this is where it's into the passive income, where you're in the B quadrant. You're now a business owner. You're a system owner. You own the system, you have the system work for you. You're going to leverage the system, right? And this is why it's so important to get to the B quadrant. And this is how we do it here at Vibe Rides, most definitely. Here, you own your customers for life. This is not just a one referral, a one-time thing. This is for life. As long as your customers stay active and keep riding, we keep paying, you keep earning. And that's what we call tremendous leverage. You own a fleet for life. So if you brought on board drivers, they'll keep driving, and every time they drive, you keep earning. And this is how you build your fleet. So if you're a driver and you want to go into overdrive, phenomenal. You can do your driving, do what you want, do what you love, do what you do every day, drive, but at the same time, your fleet is earning you money. But of course, you don't have to drive. You can just build your fleet in overdrive. You can just build your customer base for life as long as they stay active. Isn't that phenomenal? And of course, when you're in the B quadrant, you're a business owner. And when you're a business owner, you get to leverage what? You get to leverage your business in regards to your tax benefits. And of course, we love to train, we love to educate. I'm not a tax attorney, but I do know that being in business, you're able to write off a lot of things as a business owner. In this case, 57 cents a mile just to start. There's so much more you can leverage as a business owner, but most definitely we're going to explain that to you and help you out and educate you in regard to that. But today, that's not our goal. Most definitely our goal is to show you how to leverage a system. And of course, 12% go to the drive share pool where all the money comes out and in order to pay everyone, of course. And most definitely 18% goes to the company. Of course, the company has to earn something. Why? Because we need to grow. And when we grow, you grow. And of course, our CEO said to the executive team, hey, what's it going to take for us to be viable, to grow, and to have other people grow? What do we need to do that? And the executive said, we all came up with 18% is it. This is all we need in order to grow as a company and to share the wealth with you all out there on this phenomenal opportunity. And of course, here we are. Get your engine started. Get started now. And I'm going to explain to you how we do that. Of course, you can ride. You can ride for free. You can take that app. You can go to the Apple Store. You can go to the Google Play and download your app as a rider. Most definitely, love to have you as a rider. It's you know, we want you to feel the vibe and choose your vibe, and that's for free. You just download that for free. And of course, you can be a driver for Vibe Rides. Of course, most definitely. We'd love to welcome you to the family, and we're excited to have you. And of course, you download the app, you pay for your background check and in your 19-point inspection, go through the process, register, become a driver for Vibe Rides, most definitely. But of course, today we're talking about kicking it up a notch, getting to the next level of business, getting to the B quadrant, and that is what we call overdrive. And for overdrive, it's $49.95, business registration, one-time fee. You go to vibeoverdrive.com to register yourself, of course, and then $200 for the overdrive pack for a total of $250 to own a business, to own a system. And with that, you get a background check and a one vehicle inspection included with that if you also want to drive and overdrive all at the same time. 75% of the distance and time charges after your first 50 rides each month. You get 100 boomerangs, and that is the referral codes that you can send out to people to start building your customer base, of course. And most definitely your Vibe fleet management system, which is phenomenal. So basically for $99.95 a month, you have a system that will take care of your fleet, that will do your accounting, that will give you the visibility to build all your customers, to build all your drivers, and of course to drive. And you can work the system, and that system is what we call the Vibe fleet management system for $99.95. That's all you have to pay to own a business. How many businesses and franchises do you know out there that can give you leverage like this for $99.95 a month? My gosh, I can't think of any except Overdrive, most definitely. And of course, there's more. So if you get 3 ambassadors on board, you enroll 3 other Overdrive ambassadors, your monthly fee, your monthly subscription, it's not even a fee, it's a subscription to subscribe to this phenomenal opportunity, goes down to $49.95 per month. Holy smokes, isn't that phenomenal? And of course, they have to stay active. They have to remain active, and you can do that over and over and over again. So now imagine you have a system. You're on the other side of the money curve. You're in the B quadrant. You're running a business. You're most definitely in overdrive, and you can do that for $49.95. Come on now, you can do that. That's why you're here. You're here because you want more. You're here because you want more opportunity for you and your family. So what's next? Get with the person that got you on this call. They will direct you accordingly. They'll take you where you need to be. They'll help you register. They'll help you out in any way that they can. And of course, if you just heard about us and you got on this call, welcome, welcome. That's phenomenal. And you can go to vibeoverdrive.com and register and get yourself leverage this opportunity. And this is why I'm so excited, and I'll be excited every day. And I wake up every morning because I can't wait to talk to you about this phenomenal opportunity. It brings me joy to be able to be part of a system that can share and give opportunity to other people, especially now where some people just feel like, what am I going to do now? This is the opportunity you can leverage. This is the opportunity you can share. Do that. Build a legacy. Build a legacy for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones, for the community. Share this opportunity and get yourself into overdrive. And you know, I don't even know what else to say, how excited I am to be here to share this with you, this phenomenal opportunity, of course. So with all that said, remember, these calls are recorded. You can share this call with anyone that wasn't on this call, that didn't get a chance to get on this call, but it's always best to be here live. It's always best to see it right here and being presented to you live. So definitely go to our Facebook page if you want to see all the recordings. We have some phenomenal guests presenting, of course, and then you can kind of slow it down to kind of see and understand things a little more. I hope I was clear for you today, and I was going slow enough for you today to understand. And of course, we have translators. That's why I want to go a little slower. I may have speeded up a little bit because I'm excited. But in any case, I will see you again soon. Take advantage of this opportunity, share this opportunity, and be well, be safe. Have a super rest of the day, and we will see you again real soon here on Vibe Nation.